Hello everyone, we're back again. Oladejo Adeyemi here, and this remains Insight with Oladejo. Questions on administration of taxes. There seems to be some confusion in the air with respect to who administers what, and I thought it's a good time for us to clarify this bit. So, traditionally, the Federal Inland Revenue Service, as they are currently named, has been the one administering certain taxes, whereas the state tax authorities would also administer certain taxes. With these reforms, I've read that and seen and heard some people say stuff like things have been moved here and there. So let's quickly clarify how much of this movement, has happened. Now, first, you need to know that from 1st of January, we will cease to refer to the Federal Inland Revenue Service as the Federal Inland Revenue Service. We will now start calling them the Nigeria Revenue Service. So FRS would become NRS. You need to get familiar with that. In the past, it also happened before when NEPA became EKDC, IBEDC, and all that. I know some of you are still calling NEPA till today. You are not alone. There are millions of other people that are still stuck with that. But with this, FRS is going to become NRS. And that is worth mentioning. But what is changing? They have exclusive responsibility to administer certain taxes on companies. They have exclusive. The law says exclusive, the Nigeria Tax Administrative Act. I'm in the Nigerian Army, I'm in the Nigerian Navy, I'm in the Nigerian Air Force, I'm in the Nigerian Police Force. Once it is not in a civilian capacity, your taxes should be remitted and reported to the FRS. If you are also Nigerian Foreign Service, Officer of Nigerian Foreign Service, ditto for you. And then, if you have a non-resident person who derive profit from Nigeria or income derived from employment in Nigeria by a person not being a resident of any state in Nigeria. So, you are abroad and then you are deriving income from Nigeria. You are not resident in Nigeria. That the tax attributable to that income is to be administered by the FRS and accounted to the FRS. Now, where does it get interesting? They also have powers beyond this. They also have powers on income taxes, stamp duty, tax incentive. You recall that we mentioned that pioneer status incentive in one of my old videos. You can go look out for it. Pioneer status incentive has now been modified to be economic development, EDI. And FRS now has a role to play, in that entire value chain. So this law is recognizing what that role is, essentially. And it says exercise such other power and functions conferred to it by this act, and any other law as may be enacted by the National Assembly. So that is just telling you this is the focus area of the FRS. Now, with respect to the relevant tax authority in states of the SCT, remember that in 2017, the FCT has its own autonomy to be able to have its own tax authority, such that it can administer its own taxes. Their jurisdiction and the taxes that they should administer remain the taxes relevant to individuals. I take that again. Remember, we had said if you are in Nigerian Army, you are in Air Force, you are in Police Force, your taxes are going to be administered by the FRS. Now, if you are not in any of these, you are an individual, the state internal revenue, state tax authority, that's the language of the law, the tax authority in a state and the federal capital territory will be responsible for administering your taxes. So all of the returns that you have to file must be filed to the states where you are resident. And these states would also have jurisdiction over ascertainment of income, ascertainment of profit, ascertainment of assessable profit, assessment of total income and chargeable gains, and all of that. So, with this point, I hope we've been able to clarify which tax authority is administering what. so that you don't go and remit the taxes that you should pay to the FIRS, to state tax authority, and then the one you're supposed to pay to state tax authority, you don't go and remit it to the NRS, as they will be by 1st of January 2026. We will draw the curtain here. I'll see you in the next one. Remember that I remain Oladejo Adeyemi, and this is Insight with Oladejo. Bye for now.